Hi, I'm AnewZ, and you're watching AnewZ Weekend. Here are the headlines. Reliable government sources have exclusively informed AnewZ that gas supplies from Azerbaijan to Serbia will be resumed soon. Death toll in Los Angeles wildfire rises to 16. Authorities warn numbers may increase. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol will be absent for the first hearing of his impeachment trial. Reliable government sources have exclusively informed AnewZ that the suspension of gas supply to Serbia for 2 months is untrue. Supplies will resume very soon, with the Shah Deniz Bravo segment operating at full capacity. Let's watch the exclusive report to learn more.
Claims about a 2-month suspension of gas supplies from Azerbaijan to Serbia are inaccurate. Reliable government sources have exclusively informed AnewZ. According to these sources, supplies will be resumed very soon. They clarified that the Shah Deniz Bravo platform is operating at full capacity, ensuring continuity of gas exports. Earlier, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić said that gas flows from Azerbaijan had been halted due to force majeure, impacting the daily delivery of 1.7 million cubic meters of gas. However, government sources are emphasizing that the situation is temporary and under control. BP has confirmed that a technical issue was detected in the subsea gas condensate export line connecting the Shah Deniz Alpha platform to the Sangachal terminal. As a precaution, production at Shah Deniz Alpha was temporarily suspended. However, BP assures that the issue is isolated, with no impact on the operational integrity of the Shah Deniz field. BP also emphasized that gas deliveries to European and regional markets, including Serbia and Bulgaria, remain uninterrupted thanks to the operational Shah Deniz Bravo platform. Bulgarian officials reported a brief suspension of contracted gas supplies earlier this week, but deliveries resumed promptly. Government and industry sources have reassured stakeholders that the issue at Shah Deniz Alpha is being treated as a priority, with technical teams working to resolve it swiftly. Both BP and Azerbaijan's energy authorities remain committed to maintaining stable gas supplies and minimizing disruptions to European markets. Azerbaijani gas plays a crucial role in Serbia's energy security. Serbia consumes over 3 billion cubic meters of gas annually, with 400 million cubic meters contracted from Azerbaijan starting in 2024. The remainder of Serbia's gas comes from Russia, but the country is under growing pressure to reduce its dependence on Russian energy supplies as it moves closer to joining the European Union. The sources underline that Shah Deniz project remains a vital contributor to meeting these energy demands while strengthening Europe's energy diversification.
In Tel Aviv, thousands of people have gathered in protest against the government's approach to the conflict in Gaza.
Thousands of protesters gathered in Israel's city, Tel Aviv, to call for an end of the war in Gaza and immediate release of hostages. For the past 15 months, these families have had their loved ones held hostage in Gaza after more than 250 Israelis were taken hostage by Hamas in October 2023, according to Israeli tallies. Now they put pressure on their government to reach a deal that would bring their loved ones back home.
Why am I here tonight? Because I'm still optimistic and I'm hoping that the public pressure will move the government away from its current bad politics and take us to a better future. Either this government or preferably a new government. So we keep fighting for that. First stage should be end of the war, release of the hostages, and then rebuilding and hopefully getting a new reality in our region.
Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has instructed a senior delegation to depart to Qatar to continue advancing a deal with Hamas in efforts to have Israeli hostages released. This follows a situational assessment the Prime Minister's office had with United States negotiators. Some have welcomed these talks and are hopeful for a favorable outcome.
And we came to demand and to ask the return of our loved ones. My father is there. My friends are there, and this is the reason that we are here, to ask and demand them home as soon as possible. And I hope, I am always positive, I'm always optimist, and today we heard that maybe the head of the Mossad is going to Qatar, to Doha. So I really, really, really hope that something is going on and they come back soon, everyone.
Indirect peace talks between Israel and Hamas have been on and off in the past months, with Qatar, Egypt, and the United States as the main mediators for a hostage-prisoner swap deal between Israel and Hamas, with the goal of achieving a permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
A study published in the Lancet Medical Journal suggests that the official Palestinian death toll estimates the number of fatalities by tens of thousands. This variance is attributed to the collapse of Gaza's healthcare infrastructure.
Researchers estimated there were 64,260 deaths due to traumatic injury from air and ground campaign in Gaza in the first 9 months of the war, from October 2023 to the end of June 2024. That figure is 41% higher than the official Palestinian Health Ministry count for the time. The Lancet study said nearly 60% of those killed were women, children, and people over 65. It did not provide an estimate of how many Palestinian combatants were among the dead. The war began on October 7, 2023, after Hamas gunmen stormed across the border with Israel, killing 1,200 people and taking more than 250 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Palestinian health officials currently put the death toll of the conflict at more than 46,000 people. The Lancet study was conducted by academics at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, Yale University, and other institutions. Anecdotal reports suggested a significant number of dead lay under the rubble of Gaza and therefore missing from tallies. So using data from at least 2 independent sources, researchers looked for individuals who appeared on multiple lists of those killed. This method, called capture-recapture analysis, has been used to evaluate deaths in other conflict zones. Less overlap between lists suggests more deaths have gone unrecorded, information that can be used to estimate the actual toll.
Wildfires are worsening in LA by the hour, killing at least 16 people, with 13 missing.
Wildfires continued to rage across Los Angeles County on Saturday night, with fire crews and aircraft working tirelessly to control 6 fires burning simultaneously. Aerial footage revealed fire spots scattered throughout Topanga State Park, while the Palisades fire spread over another 400 hectares in the past 24 hours, destroying more homes. The National Weather Service issued warnings for worsening Santa Ana winds, which were expected to intensify Saturday night into Sunday morning in Los Angeles and Ventura counties, with another round predicted late Monday through Tuesday. These winds could reach sustained speeds of 48 km per hour and gusts up to 110 km per hour. The death toll from the fires rose to 16 on Saturday, according to the Washington Post and other outlets, while at least 13 people remain unaccounted for.
South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol will be absent from the first hearing of his impeachment trial due to safety concerns, according to a report by Yonhap Agency. A lawyer for Yoon stated he would appear in court Tuesday for his impeachment trial. The Constitutional Court has 180 days to decide whether to remove him or restore his powers. If removed or he resigns, an election must follow within 60 days. Yoon also faces a criminal investigation for insurrection over his failed martial law attempt, leading to the first arrest warrant for a sitting South Korean president. The International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva has warned that global economic uncertainty looms in 2025, driven by key policy shifts.
The IMF's Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva highlighted growing risks for the global economy in 2025. Speaking on Friday, she pointed to the impact of economic policies, particularly the directions of US trade policy. Georgieva also warned that the strength of the US dollar could lead to higher borrowing costs for emerging markets and low-income nations, intensifying financial pressures. The IMF's latest World Economic Outlook report, released last October, projected global growth at 3.2% for both 2024 and 2025. An updated version of the report is scheduled for release on January 17, shedding further light on the economic challenges ahead.
Wind power accounted for 20% of Europe's electricity consumption last year. However, according to Wind Europe, the capacity was less than half needed to meet the EU's 2030 energy and climate goals.
Wind has been a growing part of Europe's electricity production for more than 20 years, and the European Union wants it to grow much more to meet targets to combat climate change, and also as it reduces reliance on fossil fuels. Europe built 15 gigawatts of new wind energy last year, including 13 gigawatts of offshore wind and around 2 gigawatts of onshore wind, according to data from Wind Europe. European Union countries accounted for 13 gigawatts of these, but to reach its 2030 climate targets, the 27-nation bloc should be building 30 gigawatts a year of new wind farms. The EU wants wind power to account for 34% of electricity consumed by 2030 and more than 50% by 2050.
China's civil aviation sector achieved record passenger traffic, reduced losses, and expanded infrastructure in 2024, with new airports, runways, and routes increasing continued growth.
China's civil aviation sector experienced significant growth, with record-breaking passenger traffic and a strong increase in cargo volumes. Passenger numbers reached a new high of 730 million, marking an almost 18% increase from the previous year, while cargo and mail volumes rose by 22%. International flights nearly returned to pre-pandemic levels, with a 29% rise in international cargo, signaling a solid recovery in global trade. Record investment in the sector, totaling $18.41 billion, funded major infrastructure upgrades, including new runways, more aircraft parking spaces, and expanded terminal areas. With 263 airports across the country, China now has the capacity to handle over 1.5 billion passengers annually, alongside a growing air route network. Improvements in the air traffic control systems and communication infrastructure also boosted operational efficiency. As a result, the sector reduced its losses by over $2.5 billion, moving closer to profitability and positioning itself for continued growth and success in the future.
Ross Cummings, also known as the Scottish Elvis, stunned audiences with his performances at the iconic Parkes Elvis Festival. The 40-year-old tribute artist, who became a fan of Elvis after attending the festival in 2017, is now a rising star in the tribute artist world.
Ross Cummings, who now lives in Sydney with his wife and 3 children, was working as a builder when he first attended the Parkes Elvis Festival. It was during the return train journey back to Sydney that he became hooked on Elvis Presley, watching YouTube clips for hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scottish Elvis!
And after the festival, I was just blown away with how good it was and how amazing all these ETAs are, and the shows that I saw here were fantastic. So the whole train journey back to Sydney, I was basically watching Elvis YouTube clips, and from then I was just hooked. Loved Elvis ever since then.
Cummings also discovered a connection between Elvis's bloodline and Scotland, which further inspired his tribute persona.
And when I looked around, I saw Indian Elvis, I saw Kiwi Elvis, I saw all these different guys from different countries that were being Elvis, and I thought, I'm going to do Scottish Elvis, why not? Presley is one of the great Scottish names, and Elvis's bloodline did come from Scotland in the 1700s.
Now performing at his third Parks Elvis Festival in 2025, Cummings has become a fan favorite. However, he admits that the hardest parts of his act are putting on his wig and makeup. Despite the challenges, Cummings continues to impress, with fans, especially women, flocking to take photos with him after his performances.
Well, this is my first time here at Parks, and I met him yesterday at the train station, and I found him ultra charismatic and very friendly and very different, and he's very sexy, and yeah, there's just something about it.
Cummings remains humble despite his growing popularity, saying that the most important thing for him is to see people enjoying his performances.
Whether it's good, bad or indifferent, I enjoy doing it. I love to see people smiling and having a good time, and really for me that's what it's all about. It's that's, I think it should be the goal for everybody that performs, you know. Why are you performing? You're not performing in the mirror, you're performing for people, so you want them to be happy and enjoying it.
The Parks Elvis Festival runs for 5 days, coinciding with Elvis Presley's birthday on January 8th, concluding on Sunday.
That's all we have for you at this hour. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to AnewZ.